So glad we're back at our Airbnb.
Oh, this is a nice bedroom.
Do you see that sign?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I'm so offended.
It says raise Ichi double hockey sticks. I can't stay in a place that has Ichi double hockey sticks on the wall. The devil is in this house.
We gotta get out of here.
I can't stay here overnight.
Oh,
I don't want to raise Ichi double hockey sticks. You contact the host and get a full refund. Let's get out of here. You gotta get us out of here.
Okay, let me message the host real quick. Hey, we checked in late this evening, and upon arrival noticed a sign in the master bedroom that we feel violates our religious beliefs and did not feel comfortable staying at the house because of it. We just left your place and are requesting a full refund for this reservation. The sign that was in the master bedroom was not shown in the advertised listing of the home.
Full refund.
Let's get out of here.
Let's go.
Oh, it's a message from the guest. Do I get more refund? It's not that serious. Come on, rock on.
It's Host Posts, where we review posts that hosts post on social media. I'm Rachel, I'm the co-founder of QR Clue.
I'm Jason, I'm the founder of QR Clue.
And today we have a post about a bad sign.
Uh-oh. What did it say?
The post reads, I had someone book a 3-day stay yesterday for the same day check-in. They arrived at 11:45 p.m. and at 12:15 a.m. they messaged me below saying my sign that says raise hell in the master bedroom violates their religious beliefs and requests a refund. This is my first time encountering this, so I'm not sure what to do. The guest sent them a message on Airbnb that says, hey host, we checked in late this evening and upon arrival noticed a sign in the master bedroom that we feel violates our religious beliefs and did not feel comfortable staying at the house because of it. We just left your place and are requesting a refund for the reservation. The sign that was in the master bedroom was not shown in the advertised listing of the home.
Yeah, what's that saying? You never talk about politics or religion in business?
Money.
Yeah.
This
is a business, so you got to keep any type of content like that to yourself. All neutral stuff.
Yeah. A host responded and said, take the sign down. While you may consider it harmless or even funny, you have to consider some guests are going to be religious or extremely religious, and they will think you're promoting demonic or satanic activity. As crazy as that may sound, it's true and will cost money. If it offends them, they're going to stay true to their convictions and leave. It's just not worth having it. And then to the host's point, the host did respond to that, the one that posted this, and they said, yes, I agree. I will have it taken down. It just sucks that I'm in this situation.
Yeah. Some guests are different too, right? Some guests will just take it down or cover it, but they shouldn't have to. Depending on their beliefs, you never know.
Exactly. Like you said, everybody's different. So just because you think it's so silly and light and it shouldn't be a big deal to someone else, that's enough of a reason for them to say, I'm not supporting this establishment because they mention this hell thing. A lot of times people that feel that you don't align with their religious beliefs or their beliefs in general, they won't support you because, as you know, people vote with their dollars. What you pay for with your money, you are in favor of, you're supporting it. A lot of people talk about that with food. Like you vote with your dollars on what you purchase at the store because you're telling the person that you're buying it from that you support it, that you want it. Same thing with a vacation rental property. People are voting with their dollars when they book with you. They're putting their trust and their faith in you. And if in the event you come across the guest that is very strong in their convictions and they don't support anything of that sort, they're going to leave and then you get into this situation.
Yeah, and if it wasn't in the listing photos, they would have known otherwise, and they would never picked it in the first place, so that would have saved this whole hassle. So, definitely have photos if you're going to have things like that in the home. There are listings out there that have crazy stuff. They have, a themed place, and it's well known in the description and in the photos that it is that, so...
Right. You want to make sure you're accurately depicting your property in your listing photos. Keeping your photos up to date is so important. So even when you make any decor changes or if it's seasonal and you have a Christmas tree up, put
True.
your Christmas tree
Yeah.
photos in your listing because some people might get offended. We live in a very interesting time with political correctness, and unfortunately, we do have to take a lot of people's, opinions and feelings into consideration, which is, there's a line, but if you're providing a place for someone to stay and you're not accurately depicting the space, they have grounds to do something like this.
Yeah, and it just helps the host out in the long run to have accurate pictures, especially in seasonal areas. It benefits you to show the seasons, whether it's snow or fall or summer. Like, we live in a climate where there's 4 seasons and there's different things to do every season, so it benefits your property to do that.
Yeah, I agree. Having photos for every season that your property is in is a good idea. So if you're in an area like us where we have 4 seasons, having 4 sets of photos that you cycle through every season is a great idea because it just depicts your property accurately. You can see, the pretty fall colors or the white snow, and it just makes it feel like, oh wow, these are recent, and it just enhances your listing. But on this comment, I wanted to mention that there's another one that says, another host responded and said, under Airbnb refund policy, you have the right to remedy and try to fix the issue. This was an easy fix and they didn't give you a chance. You can decline the refund. And I find that very interesting because although these people are very strong in their convictions, which they have a right to be, I do agree that you have to give the host a chance to remedy the situation. I don't feel that the sign was horrible enough to warrant, like, I can't stay here because I feel like it's dangerous or it's not a safe place for me and my family, to automatically go straight to we're leaving and request a refund. It is extreme.
Sure.
I do think that ultimately it's a good idea to remedy the situation however you can as the host, but having the opportunity to fix the situation wasn't given to this host.
Sure. And I think the fact that it was the same day reservation is probably the key factor in this. If it was booked weeks in advance, I don't know that they would, or even a few more days in advance, that they would probably issue the refund because of that. Just for the fact that it wasn't booked that day anyway, maybe. I'm not sure.
And speaking to that, one host did comment and said, same day booking, expecting a refund. Make sure the payment is valid and that they did not actually stay over the night before promising anything. I'm not really sure what that last part means. Did not actually stay over the night. Well, they know they didn't.
Yeah.
Because they left. And I'm sure the host would go check. I mean, I would.
I'm sure
to make sure that they're not at the property. But I will say that is a little bit of a good point in terms of same day booking, expecting a refund.
Yeah.
That could be some sort of, like, maybe they're trying to scam Airbnb. Like, not to say that they are, because I always like to give guests the benefit of the doubt. However, it could be. But that's up to Airbnb to deal with, right? They handle the payments, they handle the guest side. So I wouldn't worry about it too much.
I'm sure in the comments too, if they stayed, it would have been mentioned but the guests were pretty clear that they didn't want to stay there, and it happened fast. From the time they checked in and left, it was quick. So when another comment states, if it wasn't in pictures on your listing, then yeah, issue a refund. Apologize and move on. Remember, we're in the hospitality business. I don't get offended by much of anything, and I get comments here about being snowflakes and how ridiculous people sometimes are. But that's my personal opinion. This is business, and anything that might or does make a customer uncomfortable should be pictured in your listing or refund it if they don't feel comfortable with it.
100%.
That's a true host right there.
That's an excellent comment. He's right. Or they're right. Whoever that is.
Yep. And it's funny, they mentioned being a snowflake because they got chastised later on in the comments about that.
And that's just it. A lot of the comments were split. Like, oh, people are such snowflakes and can't handle the real world, and they have all these kooky beliefs. And it's like, that's the world though. And they're your customer. They're the ones paying you their money that you want and ultimately leaving you reviews.
Yeah.
So you report to them.
Yeah, you're in the hospitality service industry, which means you're there to serve. in the hospitality business, you never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So
And that's what makes it fun. Like, you never know who you're going to meet. You never know who's going to stay at your property. You never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. Hospitality is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to get. Another great post was, refund as long as beds were not slept in and linens untouched. They could have only needed a private location for a short tryst or meeting, as it was so last minute. The beds and towels would be bare evidence. I think they meant clear evidence.
Sure.
If it's pristine, then I would fully refund, as you have no costs to prepare for the next guests. And they were honest in their reason for not staying. Expensive lesson, but important.
Yep.
Accurate listings matter. Questionable themes cost us money. Not everyone shares our sense of humor or playfulness.
It's so true.
Yep. And I didn't think of that. Like, how crazy would that be if somebody did do that? You rent an Airbnb, you show up, you have like a moment, and then you leave and you cite some sort of, issue, and then you get a refund. I doubt it. Like, I seriously doubt it, because I think it was a multiple day stay.
Okay. You never know with people these days, but back to the snowflake comment that I just read a little bit ago. Here was a response to that. Well, poor little snowflakes were offended. Whether it was a demonic symbol or a crucifix or other religious symbols did not constitute a refund. Go cry me a river. Geez, if they did not contact the host to remove it, or their little hands were broke and could not remove it, put it in the closet or under the bed. No refund, period, in capital letters.
Yeah.
That is not a host. That's not hospitality.
Not at all.
And it wasn't in the listing anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it was an unexpected thing, and that's the way business goes.
Yeah.
But that's a terrible comment to come back with. And the snowflake responded, "What an ugly response. I hope I never rent from you."
Yeah. 100%. I wouldn't want to rent from that host.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a very anti-guest mentality.
Yep.
And that's just not what this industry is about, and it's not how you're successful in this industry. Another host commented, very simple comment, an odd sign to have hanging in a rental property, which is true. Like, I get, maybe, I don't think the host ever answered, because there were questions on the post, like, are you in like the South or the West? Because raise hell is a very common Southern and like Texas, like a Western kind of a saying. And it could be totally like benign and meant to just be like, maybe their house is themed Western, because in that case it would make sense. However, it needs to be depicted in the listing. It needs to be shown.
Yeah.
But I do agree. It's an odd sign to have hanging in a rental property, especially, families, kids. I mean, people say hell all the time, and I guess it's not really like a swear word, but it is a curse. Like, it's a curse word. And it's an odd thing to have on a wall, especially in a place where you just don't know who you're going to get. You don't know who's going to show up and stay with you, and you don't want to like make anybody question.
Also, above the bed in the master bedroom or in the main bedroom is kind of a bad placement, because that's where you spend most of your time in a vacation rental, because you're there to sleep most cases. I mean, in a bathroom or a spare room, like, maybe it wouldn't have been as big a deal, but to be above the bed, it was noticeable.
Which makes it even kind of funnier, because it's kind of like a sexual innuendo now. Because now they're talking about raising hell in the bedroom, and that's like inappropriate. It's inappropriate for a vacation rental property. Your own house, cool. I'm sure it's, whatever. But in a rental, it's not necessary. And it was funny, because another host was being funny, and they put on, they had photoshopped a picture over the bed that said, you should put this sign in. It's much more, I forget the wording, but it said like, welcome to Pound Town. And it's like a sign above the bed, which is kind of like, it's kind of what that raise hell sign is implying, being in a bedroom.
Hey, it's Editing Rachel. Don't mind my crazy hair, but upon further research, the Pound Town sign is actually a real sign that you can purchase. It wasn't Photoshop, so that makes it even funnier.
Because if it's in a living room, it's kind of like, okay, like raise hell, like,
Could be a party.
Or just like a Western theme, like rodeo thing. I don't know. This was a really interesting comment. This host said, "No way. I didn't think I'd see this happen to anyone else. I co-host. Owner put up a small Christmas tree, 3 inches tall on the kitchen windowsill with a reindeer next to it." 3 inches tall.
Sure.
A Jewish family checks in and sends message of checkout not even 45 minutes into the reservation. They can't stay due to the tree and some other decorations. Requested refund. Owner declined. Airbnb refunds but doesn't deduct pay from owner. Advice from Airbnb was to update listing photos to reflect current location of any seasonal items. I don't know what your outcome will be. I've not looked into this yet. This just happened 2 weeks ago, and I've been working with STRs for over 20 years. Never had this happen. And a lot of the hosts were like, wow, this is great info. Thanks for telling us.
That is great information. And like we said, I mean, that being accurate in everything that you have decor-wise, and you know, that's what a lot of properties are kind of plain. Some are done up. You just never know. I mean,
CYA, cover your butt. Like, you have to make sure that all of your T's are crossed, your I's are dotted. When you're listing your property, you want to make sure it's as accurate as possible, because at the end of the day, you're on Airbnb, right? You're on VRBO. You're at these listing platforms' mercy. They ultimately are going to decide what happens in a situation that involves a guest. And as we know, Airbnb, it loves to refund guests. It's very pro-guest, which is good and bad. For a hospitality-minded host, it's good.
Sure.
Because they're going to be the ones that don't really have those issues.
Sure. Yeah.
But for the ones that have a little bit more of like a chip on their shoulder, they don't want to have to bend over backwards. They have these mindset of like commodity instead of hospitality. They're the ones that are going to have these issues more often. And we don't know how Airbnb is going to handle it. So at the end of the day, it's up to them, and they're the ones that are in control of the money, right? They're the ones in between you and the guest. Another great reason to go direct. I have so many comments I like on this one. So
a ton.
Another one that I really loved is this guy said, "We recently stayed in a place that had a collection of Playboy magazine covers and one inside page with nude photos on the wall. We had family Thanksgiving in that place, so my wife taped paper plates over all of them," which I thought was adorable. I can just see a woman and like taping plates over the Playboy images, which is ridiculous. A lot of hosts were like, "Oh my God, seriously, who would decorate like that?" And another host said, "For sure, use it as a teaching moment for your kids. Teach them why it's not appropriate and how to, I don't know, whatever lesson you want to deduct from that."
And that goes to show that every person's different, right? They took it upon themselves to handle it themselves and stayed there. They could have called the host and told them to take it down, but they didn't. Or they could have, got a refund if it wasn't in the listing. I mean, for me, that's something I would want to know. Like,
sure.
What if, especially if there's kids staying there.
Yeah,
I mean,
they have kids and they walk in and there's pictures like that.
You're right. I mean,
it's just, there's no reason for it. You might think it's cool and that it looks nice, but at the end of the day, it's just opening yourself up for all sorts of issue. Like, why bother? Like, put that in your house.
If it's a themed house in that and it's listed in that type of way, that type of guest is going there because of that theme.
Right. And this is like, that family went there for their Thanksgiving and they didn't have a clue that those were there. So they clearly weren't in the listing photos, which is like, man, that could be a whole can of worms that they could have. But they were, like you said, like a type of guest that handled it themselves. They didn't make a big stink about it, but they probably mentioned it in their review, like, by the way, there's naked ladies on the wall, and put a 4-star review, which that host would deserve.
And at the same time, that goes back to the same day booking, right? Because if you're booking the same day, typically you're in the area, you're maybe, who knows the reasons why you're booking, but for a Thanksgiving stay, you're booked in advance, you're prepared, you're packed, you could be traveling, you're not just going to up and leave.
Right. That's true. So they probably didn't have much of a choice.
Right.
It's like they're stuck there, so they made it work with paper plates, and I really hope that they mentioned it in their review.
Exactly.
Because it will help other guests not make the same mistake of booking there because the host isn't being accurate in their listing. For our guest host meter, For this one, I'm going to go guest. The reason I'm going guest is because the listing wasn't accurate, and I believe in hospitality. So this guest arrives at this property. They had no inclination that this sign existed. They find the sign. They're strong in their convictions, and they didn't want to stay there. They didn't want to support that property. And they were only there for 30 minutes. As long as everything was pristine and nothing was messed up, full refund, no harm, no foul. The next guest can come in and you don't really have to do anything for that property.
Yeah. This was a really hard one. I'm going to side with the guest only to make this a learning moment for the host and hosts in general. The guest probably could have gave a little bit more time for the host to remedy it. I think that's wrong. But at the end of the day, it wasn't in the listing. It wasn't accurate. Like I said, so this is a learning moment, and I guarantee that host learned her lesson and won't do it again. So hopefully all those hosts out there that have things in your properties that aren't in their listing pictures, you might want to reconsider that and get them in there.
Yeah. Make sure your listings are as accurate as possible, and then you won't really have these issues, hopefully.
Right.
All right, so what do you think? If you're a host, are you going to fully refund this guest and let them just be on their merry way? Or are you going to try to get the refund request declined by Airbnb? Do you feel that the guests were right in asking for a full refund, or should they have given the host an opportunity to remedy the situation?
This is a hard one.
Yeah. Leave your thoughts in the comments below.
Please like and subscribe and follow us for more host posts.
Yeah.
By the way, have you heard of QR Clue? QR Clue is a brand new amenity in the vacation rental industry that hosts can offer their guests. It's basically a kit that allows you to turn your entire property into an escape room experience for your guests.
It's so cool.
It only takes 3 minutes to set up, and it provides your guests with a 2 to 3 hour experience. To learn more, check out qrclue.com.